Welcome all. Today's video is going to be sharing the information from today's Concussion Education Support meeting. Now get myself out the way. So today is all about sleep. Last week was all about, or my apologies, last month was all about the pacing strategy. Disclaimer, this is not medical advice. Our meetings are not confidential because there are more than one person, and I record the meetings so that way things like this can be presented. This is who I am. When we want to talk about inviting guests, there could be specific practitioners, there could be anyone in general that they've heard of that they would like to hear from. And as always, family members are welcome to the group meetings. Today's plan is going to be talking about sleep, background info, recommendations for each piece of background info, and then a discussion at the end. So sleep, very generally speaking, should be about 7 to 9 hours. This little hypnograph is tracking sleep as a function of time. So there's all these different terms that you may or may not have heard before. One is REM, which is rapid eye movement. Then there's NREM or non-REM or non-rapid eye movement. And it's important to know that there are all these different cycles, but we need to make sure we hit all of them throughout the night. So when we're looking here, midnight, these are very loose times. This is not specific to individuals. This is just demonstrating what happens. So when we're awake, we drop into different stages of sleep. And as the time changes, as we stay asleep, we drop into different ones. We even may drop into slow wave sleep and below. So we're in some deep sleep. And then we come back up to REM sleep, or that rapid eye movement. As we see, it's very close to awakening. There's a lot of brain activity here. Our eyes are literally moving. And then we drop back down into our stages and then up to REM. And the goal over the course of the night is that we hit all our cycles, we get well rested. We may even have some brief awakenings. These are things that you may be aware of or you may not. Just me roll over, you look over at the clock, and then you close your eyes again and may not even remember in the morning. So anywhere from 7 to 9 hours, and we need to hit all our cycles to make sure that we are well rested in the morning. We have this internal clock. Get myself out the way here. I'm going to just bring over to the bottom corner. An internal clock, also referred to as our circadian rhythm. Some of the key points here is that we're all individuals. Even though this clock gives us specific time points all around, this is not exact. We're individuals. What we want to know is that melatonin makes us sleepy, and secretion starts, well, this says 9 o'clock. It really just means before bed. Before bed, we have our peak melatonin, which makes us sleepy. Adenosine also makes us sleepy. This is going to be important because I'll be talking about coffee and adenosine later on. Melatonin stops when we wake up. We're going to be talking about sunlight as well, which will be important for this. And then some cool things is that body temperature will change and fluctuate throughout this clock, but this will be on specific times. While it may not be exactly this time for you, this will be consistent throughout our cycle. So tools, what are the available tools? Light, darkness, temperature, food and supplements, exercise in the form of progressive muscle relaxation, and caffeine, coffee. The bolded ones are the ones that I'm going to talk about today. Light, exercise, caffeine. Sunlight. Sunlight comes into our eyes, hits our retina, goes into the brain, and can send some signals. This is a simplified graph, but we're also not going to get too deep into it. What I do want to highlight is that light and sunlight coming in from above will have a greater response than light at eye level. So sunlight above us, coming in from above, will have a best response. So sunlight, within 60 to 90 minutes of waking, we want to get 10 plus minutes of sunlight. This means actually outside getting direct sunlight. So while it's good to open up the blinds, get the sunlight into the window, turn your lights on, if you are able to, get 10 minutes of direct sunlight. If it's a little cloudy or significantly cloudy, we want to lengthen that. Do not stare at the sun. Please avoid staring directly at the sun. If it hurts, stop. PMR, progressive muscle relaxation. This is a tool that helps you ease tension in every part of the body, doing it one group at a time. So I like this nifty little graphic where they go from the toes all the way up into the head. And how I explain this to people is, let's take our bicep, for example. You want to squeeze it tight, squeeze it tight, squeeze it tight, and then relax it. And this can help us ease tension by turning on the muscle, really engaging and relaxing. Does that mean we have to squeeze as hard as we can with all our might? No, just enough to engage and relax. Some people like doing this toes to head. Some people like doing this head to toe. I'm a head to toe person. I carry stress upwards, so I like to clench my face. 3, 2, 1, relax. Clench my jaw. 3, 2, 1, relax. Clench my shoulders. 3, 2, 1, relax. This is best before, or if you're actually in bed. This will have a minimal effect if you do it first thing in the morning. This PMR tool is used to help you fall asleep, especially if your mind is racing or things like that. And of course, be gentle to your muscles. Don't squeeze so hard that it hurts. If it hurts, stop. Caffeine. This very nifty little graphic is super exciting if you like chemistry. If you don't like chemistry, you don't need to pay attention to it. All you need to know is that they're similarly structured. Adenosine makes us sleepy. Caffeine, or coffee, because there's caffeine in coffee, and there's also caffeine in tea, just to be aware of how much and in what quantity there is. Caffeine blocks adenosine from making us sleepy. It's a very simplified way of thinking about it. Caffeine blocks adenosine from making us sleepy. So with caffeine or coffee, what we want to do is wait 30 plus minutes after waking up. Avoid your coffee for about 30 minutes. Really important, stop the caffeine, stop your coffee before 4 p.m. Caffeine has a long half-life. It lasts a long time in our body. So if we drink it late into the night, you're drinking a coffee at your bedside table at 11 p.m. and you try to fall asleep, you likely won't be having a good time. So stop earlier in the afternoon to help you fall asleep later. For those who drink a lot of caffeine or a lot of coffee or a lot of tea, make small changes and make small changes over time. If you try to make a significant change to your caffeine drinks right away, you may notice things like headaches right off the bat. So make small changes over time to try and avoid drinking coffee before 4 p.m. When we hold group meetings, questions can be directly to me. They can be to other members of the group or to our team in general. And then the discussion questions that I posed were, when was your last coffee of the day? Have you heard of PMR before? Do you get sunlight first thing in the morning? And are you on your screen at night? And as always with these monthly meetings, I'm very thankful to all the people who follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And if you have questions, you can message me directly. Thank you all for listening. I'll see you again next month.